you guys doing to try to minimize some of the drops that we've been seeing?
Yeah, we've put an emphasis, like we always do, on our fundamentals. We know how important it is for the receivers. We always say, hey, our job is to get open, and that's through being outstanding in our route running fundamentally, and that's to catch the ball. And it all goes back to fundamentals. So whenever we fall short in any fundamental, whether it's the catch or the route running or blocking in the run game, we go back and emphasize those fundamentals and make sure that we prioritize them in our individual drills that we do at practice, as well as anything else we can do to just emphasize those individual fundamentals. That's the only way that I have learned or know to fix it as a coach, is just to go back and emphasize the things that we need to be better at. And there's obviously a lot of things, that the receivers have to do fundamentally, just not catch the ball. So we're always evaluating how we can be better. And to be better, you have to just do it on the practice field and really emphasize those fundamentals.
I mean, do you notice, like, guys like Jerry, are they pressing? Pressing, do you see, trying to do too much and that sort of impacting their fundamentals?
Yeah, I think everybody's different. I do think that Jerry takes so much pride, and he wants to help the team in any way he can. And obviously he knows he helps the team in catching the football. So obviously Jerry works extremely hard for us. I have encouraged Jerry to just concentrate on, the fundamentals of catching the football, and he's done that, and he'll continue to do that. But Jerry certainly proved that he can do it in this league and do it at a high level, and that's what we're looking for. And just go back to the basics, and fundamentally we just have to be better there.
With all the, I guess, the issues in you, not issues, but, said getting hurt, the drops, and it's a real young room. So what's the conversation in there, like, on a weekly basis for, how can we help this struggling offense get to where it needs to go?
Yeah, when you do have some moving parts, which we've had at the receiver position this year, and you have youth a part of that, I think it's so important to focus in on the now and the present. Our focus, as I came up here prior to this, was having a walkthrough with the players to make sure that we are very detailed in what we're doing on Friday's practice. Tomorrow we'll have great meetings and walkthrough and preparation and focus in on that. And then obviously the game. So I think that you can't look too much forward. You can't look too much back. You need to learn from mistakes and things you can learn from. But I think staying in the present is what we've encouraged our players to do, and that just increases their chance to learn the information to go out there and execute it at the level that we need it to be executed at.
How do you guard against some of the receivers, getting frustrated at this point, and Jerry trying to keep his head in the game, and other guys, trying to, especially when the precision isn't there in the passing game for whatever reason?
Yeah, the focus, I think, always goes back to when you do fall short of where you want to be, whether it's fundamentally or the amount of catches or those things that receivers all want to be a part of. I think you go back to the basics, and that's certainly what we've really focused on, is the basics of what do we need to do on this play to be successful. And I always try to encourage the players to not have too many things to think about on a play. Let's just do these 1 to 2 things right, the details that we have to get right on each play to be successful. And I think if their focus is on that, they'll have a lot more success than they would failure. And that's what we've really tried to emphasize, is just let's do the simple things really well. And that eliminates all distractions and eliminates anything else out there that may prevent them from being at the level that we want them to be at.
Can it be as simple as one big game kind of unlocking things, especially for a guy like Jerry who's done it before, that you hear basketball shooters just need to see the ball go through the basket. Does he just maybe need to see one of those games to kind of calm him down?
Absolutely. I mean, these guys, obviously, we know how important it is for anyone professionally to have confidence. And with one game, you can turn the level of confidence with a player. And we see it in all sports. I've certainly experienced it in my career with players that may not be playing up to the standard that they know they can. and then they have, let's call it a breakout game, and have a lot of success in one game. And it really does. It's like momentum in a football game. It's no different momentum within each individual. You kind of get on a roll. So obviously that's what we're looking for, is for all of our players to go out there and have a lot of positive things happen, and then create some momentum both individually and as a team that ultimately leads to wins.
Outside of, obviously, Jerry, you have a really young room. So how have you seen guys like Isaiah engage, and I know Gage is hurt at the moment, but kind of go through their rookie season so far and find their roles in this first stretch of games?
Yeah, I've been very pleased with our young players that we have in the receiver room. They've done such a good job of coming in here and working hard. And you know, I think that we have some good leadership on this team. I really do. And I know that Tommy Reese has done a great job with the young players of really teaching, coaching those guys, and trying to get them to help us win games. And that's certainly the attitude that they've had. They do everything that's to help the team. And I'm really excited to keep seeing these guys play. I really am. They've done everything we've asked from a preparation standpoint, and I think with increased opportunities, they'll have success.
With a guy like Isaiah, you know, he kind of wears his emotions on his sleeves a little bit. I know we saw after that one play he was kind of yelling at somebody. Do you have to rein that in, or do you just kind of do you have to let him be who he is?
It's a good question. I think that there's a lot of aspects that we have to be really good at on game day. You know, obviously physically, mentally, with knowing our assignment, and I do think there's an emotional part of it. And I always think my best advice to the players is to be right down the middle. You know, let's not get too high on the highs, not too low on the lows, and be right down the middle. And that's what we encourage, you know, both Isaiah and our other players to do, and myself. I remind myself of that a lot on game day as a coach, you know, just to make sure that we just, again, don't get too high on the highs, too low on the lows. Let's just stay right in the middle. Let's stay neutral, and we'll be able to do our job a lot better. So a lot of times with young players, they have to put together those three things: the physical, the mental, and the emotional part of it. And when they can put those things together, they have a good product. Thank you.
Good morning.
How different do you notice out of Devin this year? Because it seems like he's really playing what you would hope you'd get out of him, you know, when you signed him.
Devin's just gotten better and better and better in knowing the system and getting his alignments and his eyes right in this system, and it's been really beneficial. So just since he's got here until now, he's good at being ahead of motions and ahead of plays and being in the right spot, and you're seeing his speed come to life. But he's been real physical. He's really good. He's doing a nice job communicating with everybody else. Excited for what he's doing, and we're going to need him. We're going to need him this week. This team has some speed.
That when you look at the way that the Dolphins use Achan as a receiver, when you look at your position room, like who really stands out to you in the coverage aspect at the linebacker position?
Well, they as an offense blur the lines. They use all their humans to run all their routes, and that's what they do. They run the same plays, but you don't know where people are going to be. So for us, it becomes a rules game. So our matchups, we got to know how each one, regardless of position, how they run their routes and what they do, or in their run plays, what their aiming points are, where their keys, and we got to have our eyes right in our alignments. And then it's knowing where our help is. So that's what we've been working all week, because the matchups are going to be what they are. There's going to be times that any of our players can be on any of their players. And so we got to use our help and be under control and get our eyes in the right spots to know when we're passing things off or locking things or what kind of zone we're in.
Looked like maybe a couple times on Sunday last week that Aaron Rodgers maybe caught Carson maybe once or twice, and I know the one play it looked like maybe he undercut something. Like, how much of a learning experience is that when it's a quarterback that reads things as well as Aaron does and then gets the ball out so quickly for a rookie linebacker who's in the middle of the defense?
Well, like we say, there's only one ball on the field, so we got him, and he does a really good job of knowing where that is and going. There's one play where somebody else needed to lock something and Carson tried to fix it. There's one of those. And there's some times where in games like that where there's going to be something that the ball comes out really fast and you got to find a way to get it in the ground. I will say this, the last drive where we got a 3 and out where Carson made the 2 tackles on the flip play where they flipped it behind the line of scrimmage, and then that was a pick route. They were trying to pick him, and he knew that, and he dropped his weight because you're allowed 1 yard from the line of scrimmage to pick. He knew the pick zone. He moved back. He dropped his hips down and then went and wrapped the back up. Those aren't good plays. Those are great plays. So if you get him, he learns really quickly. Keep it up, Carson.
I know it was Jerome a lot early because Mahmoud was coming back. Right now, they're kind of feels like they're both splitting time. So, like, how do you figure out who's going to play what number snaps?
Well, both we feel like right now our rotation is all 4 of the linebackers, and we really like Easton as he continues to learn of the 5 guys that are active right now on the roster. We really like Easton as well. Right now, Mahmoud and Jerome are pretty solid pros that are both doing a good job. We talked a little bit about aligning wider to see, like both with Dev and against this team, and both of them are continuing to improve on that. So it depends somewhat on what the offense does, what personnel groups for us, what Coach Schwartz picks for the game, but they're all going to play, and those 2 right now are playing sometimes the same spot and sometimes they're all in together. So we're just going to continue to roll them because we like what all of them do.
Miles expressed some frustration with, how the Browns continue to lose the same way every single week after that Steelers game. So just wondering, you guys have a basically championship caliber defense. How do you think the guys are handling it? What do you think the mindset is of the defenders in terms of just how this is going this year?
Well, I think the one thing that we can do is we're not promised anything. All we get is 1 game a week and 60-plus minutes, and we don't control what falls out of the sky, which might be fun this week. And we don't control any of that. All we can control is when that ball is put down, wherever it's put down, 20-yard line, 50-yard line, doesn't matter. That's all you can control as a defense. Defenses have 2 jobs. Players hear this from me all the time at the start of the offseason program. We got 2 jobs, okay? And coaches have 2 jobs. Help the players get better, to make plays, and get the ball back for the offense. That's it. And that's all we can think about. So every day when we get started, that's how we start. We start with put the ball down, and then it's our job to stop you. And we can't think past that. And we have to do better as a defense, as all of us, at having that mindset right there. I have to. I'm lecturing myself as I talk to you to get our minds right to no matter what happens. And you've heard this from me before. The next play is my best play. As a coach, my job is to help anything that happens. We talked about Carson. Anything that happens, it's our job to find it, fix it together, and do it better the next time, which we've been able to do at times. We got to do it more consistent.
Unpredictable for Sunday and 30-mile-an-hour winds, chance of rain. I guess just looking at it and the potential for a lot of stuff to happen on the ground, like what's the mindset for you guys to get a chance to maybe muck some things up there?
I think weather forecasting, and since I've been here, which I've been fortunate to be for a while now, is a really hard job here. And I think, whatever happens, we gotta be ready for it. And what I mean by being ready for it is just what I talked about. Hey, it may bounce funnier. Well, anytime it's on the ground, we got to scoop that ball up. Those little things come huge when you get weather games.
About Carson's ability to, at the green dot, have his intelligence, but just through these first 6 games, how have you just seen him grow in that, facing divisional opponents and a lot of different things, just through this first part of the season?
He's really good at when we give him specific coaching points or things that happen, making sure he's unique, that he can focus on, set the play, make all the calls, and still focus on the technique. One of the things that he's gotten, I'll give you an example, one of the things he's gotten better at is just his extension of getting his eyes on the correct side of blockers and getting away from blockers quicker, because he's so good and likes contact and he's so strong and he does everything you want that sometimes he will let people get closer to him. Well, you don't have to do that every down, Carson, and he's gotten better and better. That's an example. It's because he can focus on technique things in still making calls and playing within the framework of the defense.
Stuff he's learning and stuff he's picking up on so quickly. Is he doing it faster than maybe you've seen from other players?
The unique ability, like Phil Jackson, when he would whistle, what does that mean? In his famous phrase, stay in the moment, right? His ability to stay in the moment is unique. And when you have the ability to stay in the moment, you have to learn it as coaches, as players, as everybody. When you have that, you can take in information and make those little changes quickly. He has that. So he goes to the next play quickly. He's very conscious of everything that goes on around him quickly. And when you have that, you can make adjustments and remember everything that happens to you. And that's really unique. And he's been able to use that to get better every week. So you want to get, as a coach, you want to get everybody to figure out where their mindset is and how to snap back into it. We talked about Devin. Devin's way better at, okay, this happened. I know how to fix it. Here we go. Some of that's experience, some of it's coaching. It's all of us work together. But he's unique in that he can do that quickly.
What would a victory do for you guys?
I'm sorry?
What would a victory do for you guys as a football team on Sunday?
Well, I think every time we take the field, it's about going 1-0. And I think that any time you win, this game is amazing in this league, that you're playing against these elite super athletes, and anything can happen. Anytime you win this league, it's a result of hard work, and we're ecstatic when we can do that. So what would it do? It starts that back off, and then we got to figure out when we're able to go 1-0, then we got to figure out how to do it again. Thank you. Go Browns.